A significant ruling from a federal court in Washington is reshaping the landscape for journalists reporting from the United States Pentagon. A federal judge has halted the U.S. government's restrictive access rules for members of the press, emphasizing the public's fundamental right to comprehensive information, especially in light of current U.S. military engagements abroad. For several months now, journalists seeking to report from the Pentagon have faced a series of far-reaching restrictions. This legal challenge was brought forward by the New York Times newspaper, which filed a lawsuit against a new directive implemented by the Department of Defense. This directive had a profound implication. It allowed reporters to be classified as a security risk simply for researching information not explicitly designated for public consumption. The New York Times vehemently argued that this policy constituted a direct violation of the foundational principle of press freedom. United States District Judge Paul Friedman delivered the ruling. He acknowledged the undeniable importance of protecting United States troops. However, Judge Friedman declared that in the context of ongoing U.S. military operations, specifically citing the military involvement in Venezuela and the escalating tensions referred to as a war with Iran, it is more critical than ever before for the public to have unfettered access to information. This access, he stressed, must come from a multitude of perspectives, allowing citizens to fully understand the actions of their government. The contentious new guidelines were originally unveiled in September by the Department of Defense, which is led by Pete Hegseth. Under these regulations, journalists were explicitly forbidden from publishing any information that had not been officially pre-approved by the Pentagon. Furthermore, the rules stipulated that if a journalist were to request military personnel to disclose either classified or even unclassified information that had not been cleared for release, their accreditation could be immediately revoked. Media representatives were also put in a difficult position. They were required to sign an affidavit, an official sworn statement, committing to abide by these stringent new provisions or face the consequence of vacating their offices within the Department of Defense premises. The impact of these rules was swift and widespread. Out of the 56 media organizations accredited at the Pentagon, a staggering 55 chose to return their press credentials in protest. This group notably included Fox News, a media outlet generally perceived as supportive of, or at least uncritical towards, the current United States administration. In response to this widespread media boycott, the Department of Defense proceeded to establish a new separate press corps. This new group was reportedly comprised of media organizations that were considered more favorable to President Donald Trump's administration. The New York Times viewed this move as yet another constitutional violation, asserting that its primary objective was to stifle and suppress any reporting deemed undesirable by the government. The Department of Justice, representing the government's position, countered these arguments by stating that such inquiries made by journalists to military personnel are not protected under the right to free expression. While neither the Pentagon nor the New York Times has yet commented on this specific ruling, it is widely anticipated that the government will appeal the decision, signaling that this legal battle is far from over. It is worth noting that the administration of President Donald Trump has, in its rhetoric, unilaterally rebranded the Department of Defense as the War Department and Pete Hegseth's role as War Minister. However, these changes have not been formally confirmed by the United States Congress. This court ruling stands as a testament to the ongoing struggle for transparency and press freedom in reporting on critical government operations. What's your take on U.S. Judge Block's Pentagon press restrictions Citing public right. Share your view in the comments. Do you think this will matter in the next news cycle? This video was generated using artificial intelligence.